Oh, hello. This is Claire. I've been set up to do a recording on Zoom. I'm basically interviewing Priya today, who's one of the people who has helped me with DeStressYou. She very kindly agreed to be interviewed, and we trained actually, it's probably getting on for a good year ago, really, when I started it all, perhaps before that. So it's a year and a half since I started setting it up. So I'm just waiting for Priya to come online at the moment. And I think someone else is also meant to be hosting it. Let's have a look. So far as well, I thought I'd just introduce the cards again. So I've created some special message cards, which is part of the program. So let me show you a bit more slowly than I normally do. So for example, this is rainbow. They're very simple cards with a simple message on, and that's the rainbow. And there's four suits. That includes universe, colours, elements and seasons. And this one is rainbow. And it says the rainbow will show you good luck. The rainbow assists you to be more creative. And then, for example, we've got summer as one of the seasons. Relax, that's got a beautiful picture of a lion. Relax and enjoy the sun, happy and free, don't worry. I asked a good artist, Lara Spearman, to do the cards. I knew her illustrations would be perfect, really. And this is stars, which actually ended up on the back of all the cards, which is fantastic. I love the character. And it says, you see magic in the stars, wish for something new and ask the angels to assist. And then we've got water, so elements, and that one's beautiful as well. I love the colours. So we've got be in the flow. You can create more with the element. We assist with emotions, feel more and think less with water, which is my element. And the idea is that people play with the cards and they use them intuitively. For people that haven't used angel cards or tarot cards before, it might be a good fun thing to do just to get them into using them. And they might, for example, shuffle and then use, Priya's coming on board now, use the cards. So, okay, not sure if I have to let her in. And so this one is winter. Hi, Priya.
Hi, how are you?
I was talking to myself here. Yeah, fine. I think that Josh, this is recording. Yes. Josh is probably doing a separate little chat with us or me another time. So yeah, I'll just get my questions. I was enjoying showing the cards, but I think I did chat to a lady who's running a course with me, which is creative writing. And she said, oh, doing the manual will really help, which I've kind of done as the slides, but I need to get it as a book. So that, and then she sort of was a bit bemused by the cards, even with the booklet. Anyone that isn't, I suppose, used to using these tools would need a bit more information. Even there's information in the book, there's information on the cards, but just to position it, I suppose, really.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's clear to me because I know the background with you, but I guess maybe for somebody unfamiliar with it, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Exactly. Right, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Yes, I've just come from an NHS yoga class.
Oh my gosh, you're doing so well on the yoga now. So actually that's one of the questions. If we can try and find the questions, I'll have to go back to our little stream. But tell us a bit more about your background then, Priya, if you don't mind, and why you were attracted to DeStressYou.
Yeah, I mean, I have quite a mixed background in terms of my career progression. So I've always had one foot in the corporate world, but another foot in the more kind of spiritual, sort of yogic kind of field. And the two have been elements of my life, my sort of adult life all the way. So I first started practicing yoga practically 30 years ago. And then about 6-7 years ago, decided to train to teach myself. And I also trained as a meditation teacher in Reiki and also to do Indian head massage. So I very much keep those going alongside any corporate work that I do.
Mm.
And the yoga, and
yoga, Priya, or is it all one type? Or,
it's different. I mean, I do, obviously it's tailored to the audience. So I do from children up to elderly people on hospital wards in the NHS. And I'll do, through the pandemic, I've been doing online classes as well. So the evening ones will obviously be more sort of yin type yoga and relaxation before sleeping, calming anxiety, that kind of thing. We'll do some more dynamic sort of yoga in the parks, in the community classes that I do, or in gyms.
That's one I did with you, isn't it? It was so relaxing and enjoyable outside. It goes so well outside.
Yeah, I love practicing in nature. So when DeStressYou came up, that was a kind of perfect culmination, I think, of all the different practices I've been doing. So there were definitely elements of the course that I could recognize. So the chakras, for example, and things that I have a personal interest in, like the essential oils, but I wasn't that familiar with, you know, which oils have which properties and what they're good for and how you can combine them and all of those. So there was, you know, there were definite areas of learning for me as someone in this field. So
yeah, there is quite a lot going on there, isn't it? That similar, I can really see that. And that's probably, you're my ideal client to, if watching what Priya's describing, is probably an ideal background to look into this, really. And it is quite experimental as well, isn't it, to a degree, I suppose. So that's part of, I think, why I've been attracted to it, or created it was different and breaking things down a bit, breaking barriers down, new ideas, bringing it all together. So can I ask you, Priya, what did you enjoy most from the DeStressYou training, and which subjects and why? It's a bit like a school essay question.
Yeah, I mean, lots of it. I loved, you know, how each week was a different theme, you know, and you sort of explained to us what was going to come up that week. And as I said, I think there were areas that were new to me, so I've only ever touched on them. So things like crystals, for example, and all the different properties, and, you know, how to cleanse them and that kind of thing. It added a lot of depth to what I know. And it sort of left me, you know, wanting to explore further as well. And equally with the essential oils, like I do Indian head massage, but I think it's, you know, it's something that I love having in my life, and I want to be able to offer that to my clients as well. So it's knowing how to really use them and what the properties are, and if someone, you know, comes to me with a particular need or ailment. So that's really helpful as well.
Yeah, have you got plans to discover more about aromatherapy and study it, do you think, or is it hard with the kids?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something I'd like to do. I wouldn't do it straight away just because of time constraints, but yes, it is something that stood out, I think, from your course that appealed to me. And then another thing that I really loved was your beautiful cards that you've made. So like almost like a tarot pack, but it's, you know, it's really connected with nature, and yeah, I think
they're ethereal.
And yes, I absolutely love them. Yes, yeah, I think they're really lovely. I mean, I'd love to have something like that as a picture, I think, on my wall. You know, they're really
well,
it's such a great idea.
Yeah, a friend and showed them to her. She doesn't have anything to do with this, and she thought posters with those, and obviously that's Lara's, you know, work, and it's down to her, but I think those would make a lovely present, you know, like posters at a Mind Body Spirit Fair as well, and inspire us in our rooms maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I loved those. I think it's a really ingenious idea, actually, to create your own cards like that. And I loved we had a session recently, didn't we, where we used those. I think it was in your Wheel of the Year, one of those sessions, and you
we did, yeah,
one for each of us. So I love, you know, to sort of see the practical use of those as well. And I think also looking at the sort of, you know, the age group you might be looking at, sort of younger people who are, you know, sort of aware of spirituality and perhaps psychic intuition, that kind of thing. I think it's really, they're nice and clear. you know, for a younger age group, they're not complex. They're not like some tarot cards maybe you look at and you don't understand.
Yeah,
Decipher what they maybe mean, and we all have such different interpretations.
exactly. That was the whole purpose, really. And in a way, I was channeling them. I thought, what does this mean, really? It was all not coming from me, but I think you're absolutely right. It was like clarity for younger group or people that are new to it, so it sort of leads them in gently, because your first pack of however many it is, it's 72 tarot cards, is like mesmerizing. You just think, where do I start? And it's quite big, and you know, so many meanings as well, but these are quite simple. So and I think the process is the same, where it's always an oracle and you just go with the flow with it, really, which I think you took on board really well. Josh too, because obviously Josh is the other person that I was teaching, and Josh is a natural with cards and meditation as well. Hopefully we'll get him on a separate interview. But I was also going to ask, how is DeStressYou helping you, perhaps, and your family, perhaps elements of it at the moment?
Yes.
Is there anything it's helping you with?
Yeah, I mean, I think just the whole aware, like I know about the chakras and I've looked at them for yoga, but I think you took us even more in depth and, you know, made me think about those. So I've incorporated that more into my yoga teaching. You know, it's been really helpful to have that sort of in parallel, side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think things like the crystals and the oils as well. My children are really interested in those. So my children are 9 and 11, and they love having, you know, maybe a few drops of lavender on their pillow when they go to sleep, that kind of thing, or just dropping them around the room when we want to create a calming atmosphere. And yeah, I think it's really lovely, because I'm not, you know, I would never force them into a spiritual direction, but I think if they're open to it, it's nice to just have these elements, you know, that I can show them when they ask and when they're interested. And
I think that was the beauty of doing that, because you can trial different things. I keep saying smorgasbord, so it's a bit like, or I can't think of the word now, tapas. Lots of little versions of things. I think people might be a bit frustrated and they might think, that's not for me, I want to go in depth on suddenly, but many people wouldn't know many of those things at all, so it's more of an introduction. And then we've got the actual lessons which people can learn to teach, which I need to go into in more depth in a different course, really. But that's the next stage. But it's great to hear that you're using it, even if it's, you know, two main parts of it, perhaps. And that, personally, for anyone listening or watching, I've really enjoyed your chakra work in the yoga that you do, and taking us up from the root up to the crown. We did crown, didn't we, this week?
Yes, yeah, so that was like a consolidation of each week we've got different chakras, so it was bringing them all together and sort of out into the aura. And it's a really lovely thing to do, actually. I think it's nice for participants to have that structure, focusing around one chakra a week and learning about, you know, everything that it connects with, and, you know, why it's important to balance that chakra, and also how physical ailments can show up in the body if a certain chakra is blocked or unbalanced. And I think working with you helped, you know, it made me go and sort of seek further as well and educate myself further. So that was a really nice sort of learning in partnership with you.
I think I feel like a signpost sometimes. I've actually seen it. You're just a signpost, help people a little bit in a different direction. And sometimes when they're stuck, these sorts of things can help. And also, I wonder if you want to tell everyone where you're based, Priya, as well, and the classes, perhaps what days you do classes and times. I know it's quite a few, isn't it?
Yes.
So what
the main ones, so I'm in southeast London in the borough of Lewisham, and we have, probably for drop-in classes, there are 2 classes a week that people could join. So there's a Monday evening, which is online, and that's more of a relaxation class that starts at 9 to 10, and it's nice to have some candles around and essential oils, that kind of thing. So it's really relaxing and calming before going to sleep. And then we have another more dynamic class, which is on weekends, Saturdays at 12:30, in a local park, which is called Lewisham Park. And if there's demand, I'll also broadcast that online at the same time via Zoom. I also do one-to-one classes, so you know, I'm very flexible if people want to set up and have a, you know, specifically work on an area. So,
yeah, I know you've been doing it quite a while now, and you've got a bit of a following there, so Priya, and especially through lockdown online, which has been incredible. I think I've been at some of your classes, been 10 people or something,
which is a surprise, but I think it was, you know, in part it was a captive audience. People were, you know, in their houses and they needed an outlet for, you know, anxieties and that kind of thing. But the lovely thing that I've noticed is that people further afield have wanted to carry on with those classes online, even though we're not in lockdown anymore. So that's, you know, that's a really nice sort of thing that's come out. You know we can still gather even if we live miles away, and you know, sometimes we have people from 3 different countries online.
Absolutely. But you're in Canada, isn't it?
Yeah, so I had someone in Canada, Serbia and Wales online, and then the rest of us were UK. So
yay.
it's really lovely to have that there, you know, that's sort of something positive and, you know, really beneficial, and it's bringing us together, and we have an online community, which is great. And I think we can all support each other a lot with these sorts of
absolutely. I don't want to do too much self-promo here, but I do the Wheel of the Year Sabbat, so we can do that online, can't we, as well, which
I've loved. Yes.
Yeah, we've so good doing that, and it's so good that, like, this virus is not going to get to us, or it is going to not stop us. We can still continue with the incredible technology. So it's so good. So I was going to ask, not make this a really grand long interview at all, but I was going to ask, what's next for you, and would you be using some of the perhaps things the tools we've got from DeStressYou and the lesson plans, do you think? she hopefully.
Definitely. I mean, I think for me it's about me familiarizing myself more with the cards and trying them out on more people beyond my family. So, you know, for example, I live in a lovely community where we know a lot of people around from local schools and that kind of thing. So if there's anyone interested, you know, some people's children do join my yoga classes as well, and these are, I'd say, 9 to 15-year-olds.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely amazed at their dedication. Some of them have just taken to it naturally, and I don't think it's something you can force children to do, but they love it. And you know, they like the, you know, the chanting of mantras, that kind of thing, you know, they've told me. So I think those are the kinds of people that I could show the cards to and get them to pick a card, and you know, that takes the conversation, definitely. So I think there's definitely potential to build.
That's really good to hear. I think it's still like the beta stage, really, isn't it? Because we need to get the lessons actually out there. And yes, I've gone through some of the lessons, but what I'm doing at the moment is about to create the manual. So we'll get the annex full with the lesson plans, and then it might be, could play around with that with some of your clients, perhaps, if it helps. So get the crystals ordered. The oils, and I think were you going to get oils for your birthday, Priya? Has it been your birthday?
Oh yes, so my sister gave me some, actually. So yes, added to my collection. Yes.
When was your birthday?
So it was the 6th of October. So it's on a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh, you're not on. You're very modest. It's not all over Facebook.
No, I don't. I put my birthday as like 100 years ago on Facebook. I don't give away too much personal information.
No, you're very sensible, actually. Yeah, I might say too much about that, I think, really. I just wondered if there's any other things you wanted to talk about at the moment that you think might help people and relevant to this whole subject with self-care, and perhaps at home self-care as well.
I mean, I think it's really, you know, there are certain elements of the course that are really going to stand out to people. Like for me, for example, it was the chakras, the oils, the crystals, and the cards. So quite a few. So I think it's really worth trying the course, and because it's a really good taster of, you know, just maybe it's going to bring you more knowledge of an area that you maybe want to pursue a little bit more, and it can really enhance your life. And I think the pandemic and lockdown has made people a lot more aware of self-care, working on their mind, their body, their spirituality and all of those things. So it's a really good starting point, I think, and not just for younger people, it could be for older people as well. So
yeah, it definitely could. I'm sort of getting instinctively for younger people, almost. I started veering off at one point and I got guidance coming for young people. It's fascinating, really. Yeah, but it's great to hear that, you know, you appreciate that, and I think you are going to be one of the leaders, and you certainly a bit younger than me. I think you're going to go, you know, whoosh, keep going with these things, so that's great. I think what I feel is get to a certain age and you kind of want to pass on what you've learned. I think I've been seeing that a lot lately. People at kind of this age want to pass what they've learned through. So it's been amazing to work with you and Josh. And we'll try and get Josh interviewed as well, because I think you're both quite brave and really kind as well.
Oh, thank you. Just to add, you know, I value your wisdom so much. I'm really grateful that you know, we met through I think it was a shamanic meditation session, wasn't it? It was
so I was doing the spiritual development group. I think I had it on Meetup actually in London, and I was just, what am I going to do? I've just landed in London, and I went to Meetup and that, and it was really helpful because it drew quite a few different people.
I wouldn't have met you if it wasn't for that. So, you know, I was saying to my sister Nilla, who also joins your Wheel of the Year sessions, you know, we're so grateful to have you, because I think we do, just as we have teachers, you know, in all our other areas of our lives, you know, we work on our physical bodies and things like that. A lot of us, you know, we don't necessarily have a religion, but we need a guide in spiritual matters. And it's so important. And it has to be someone that resonates with us. And you're definitely that for me in my life. And I feel comfortable in your presence. So
that's lovely. I think you do have comfort thing, don't you? And it's like your pupils come to you and they're comfortable with you as well, and likewise. And they always say, don't they, the pupils appear when the teacher's ready, and vice versa.
Yes, I think so. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you ever so much, Priya. Lovely to see. I have to admit, I don't know how to close off the recording, whether there's a button. Can you do that? And I'm sorry to people watching.
I think
Of my mature years of not understanding how to switch off a recording. I mean, the other thing we could do is
we can leave the meeting and then we can connect. Let's do that. Yeah.
Shall we? Well, thank you ever so much for anyone.
All right, welcome. Bye.
Lovely to see you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Later. Bye.